thank you for joining us. This is Akwesi Opong and this is Sunlight Radio Online. We are glad that you've made time to join us for another episode of our show, Enjoy Life with Your Spouse. We are glad to be here. Over the last few weeks we had some technical issues that interrupted our show, but we are grateful to God that we are back today and we're very excited. We are going to talk about something very interesting today, and we would like you to reach out to your friends and couples you know who will benefit from this, especially couples who are getting ready to get married, and I'm sure this will benefit them in so many ways. We hope the past week was good. You and your family are doing great and you are enjoying life with your spouse. We will be right back. Hello again, and thank you for joining us for another show today. This is Sunlight Radio Online. My name is Akwesi Opong, and we are so grateful to have you today. We are glad that you are taking very good care of yourself, and you and your family and everybody in your household are all doing well. We are very grateful that we are blessed with another week to come and share something wonderful with you. So as we settle in today, we are going to talk about habits of highly happy couples, and this is a very interesting topic because it's always said that the grass always looks green on the other side, and that's another thing we are going to delve a little bit into to talk about, because the truth is there are definitely some couples who are happy, but I have to preface this by saying that every relationship has its own share of challenges. I'm not saying here that there are some couples who have it all made and everything is going well in their relationship and their home. There will be some challenges, but as these challenges come in, the happy couples, or those who have the habits of happiness, know how to handle it. They know the right choices to make. They know the right things to say. And those are some of the things we're going to look at tonight. As I've always made you aware, we do have a website, which is enjoylifewithyourspouse.com. You can always visit us there to review some of the shows we have. We archive everything from the show on that website. We also have a Facebook page and a YouTube channel, which you can also visit and use some of the resources. And if you'd like to contribute to our show today, the number is 240-772-1420. Again, it's 240-772-1420. So thank you so much again for making today a priority, and we are going to delve into our topic for today. So when we talk about couples who are highly married, as I said earlier, the first thing that I think comes into most of our minds is that these couples have it all made, everything seems to be going well. But the truth of the matter is that research shows that 20% of the time there will be some conflict that married couples will have to deal with. But that 20%, it comes down to how well you are equipped with the tools and resources and the knowledge, and also the self-control and the ability to really apply those tools. Having tools and not being able to use it is one thing, or having tools and not having them with you is another thing. But having the tools, knowing how to use them, and applying those tools will help you get through that 20%. And I think that for the couples we're going to talk about today, they know how to deal with those issues. Studies analyzed, data that was analyzed from a study show that, and this was couples, about 286,000 people were studied, and based on that, this was in October 2017 to the following year in September 2018, and they found out that there are three top things that brought happiness to individuals. And the three things, the number one is their marital status, the two is their health, and the third thing is their economic activity. And as you know, these, I think we probably didn't need an extensive research to tell us that, but it's good that research is confirming this. So I'm very excited about that. So as you see, our marital status play a key role in our happiness set point. So making sure that we are adapting those habits that will help us make the most of our relationship, get the most out of our relationship, and make sure that our relationship is not bringing us pain and sadness and unhappiness. It's very, very important. There's a body of research that tells us that married couples rate their life satisfaction 9.9% higher than those who are widowed, and also married couples were 8.8% happier than those who were divorced or separated. So there is evidence that tells us overwhelmingly that the relationship or the institution of marriage brings satisfaction and happiness. But then if we don't follow the rules, and I think I say this enough, that there are rules when you're driving a car, there are rules when you're using power equipment or any form of tool, there are rules, and if we follow the rules, we will get the results we want. If you follow the rules of driving, you will get to your destination. If you follow the rules of using a power drill, you will get the table put together, or you'll be able to build a nice chair. But if we fail to apply those rules, then we end up finding ourselves in relationships that won't benefit us, relationships that we are unhappy. And I think that for the effort and time we put into our relationships, we have to make sure that we understand and know those tools that will help us arrive where we need to be. Singles, however, only reported being 0.2% happier than those who are divorced. So again, this is not even relating to marriage. So in focusing on married couples, there is so much that if we apply the tools or the habits of highly happy couples, we will find a lot of happiness and joy in our relationships as well. And I want to also add that there is a lot of sacrifice and hard work that goes into it, but it always pays off. It always pays off if we do the work we need to do. So if you thought of your wakeful hours in a week as $1, this is just an analogy, you only need a nickel worth of time to have an effective relationship. So think about this. If you think of your waking hours, you get up in the morning all the way to the evening, as $1, as 100 cents. All you need is a nickel out of a nickel is what, 10 cents? So you need 10% of the time in your day to invest into your relationship to make it a happy one. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It just takes the desire, the self-discipline, the purpose to really decide, know the things you need to do and act on it, and that will generate the results you're looking for. So it's so important that we apply these things and not just hear them, because it's applying them that will get us the results we need. So let's go through our list and look at some of the things, some of the habits of the highly happy couples. What do they do? The first thing is that they think small. When we say they think small, what does that mean? People think that they need, grand gestures. They have to do big things to impress their spouses. But the truth is that they don't have to go on a splurge on a huge vacation, and if you don't know how to talk to each other than in little moments, Dr. Gottman, who's a renowned researcher in relationship, says that if people could just make small changes in their moment-to-moment interactions with each other, they will realize transformational differences in their relationship and put their marriages or their love life in a positive trajectory. Don't undervalue the value of small gestures. So what are some of these small gestures? The small gestures are the little things that you do to really help your relationship. Going that extra mile, realizing that your wife needs help, so you come home early to offer her some help. Those are those little gestures. Saying thank you, acknowledging your husband, showing appreciation for what you have in your relationship. Those little gestures go a long way. Today I was listening to a resource by a new marriage ministry, I'll call it, or it's a podcast. It's called 80/80 Marriage. I had never heard about it before until today, and I was listening. They were talking about how a lot of people believe that marriage is 50-50. I've always believed it's 100-100. 100-100 means that you bring all in it and your spouse bring it all in it, and both of you work to build something special. But they propose a different approach. 80/80, meaning that you bring 80% of yourself into it, and that 20% left is not to throw it away, but to invest that into yourself. Because what is important here is that in order to be good in your relationship, you have to be a good individual. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself. And that is what that 20% does. So it's important that we invest little things into our relationship to bring it to where we need it to be. So the other thing, the other habit of highly happy couples is that they ask questions. Again, Dr. Gottman talks about how couples who are happy have the ability to develop what they call the shared meaning system. They are weaving their lives together to create a shared meaning and a kind of sense of common destiny. You may ask yourself, what is this shared union? You have to create a relationship where you're pursuing each other's dreams and supporting each other's goals. Meaning that if you know that you have gotten to a point in your career, find ways of helping your wife or your husband also develop in their career. It's that shared meaning. The belief that when I succeed, my spouse succeed, or if my spouse succeed, I also succeed. That is that shared meaning. And with that mindset, we approach everything believing and knowing that I'm not doing it for myself. This is not a selfish approach, but I'm approaching everything in a way that will let both of us win. When both of us win, we win together. When one person wins, we win together. So that approach of being able to have a shared meaning that you go the extra mile to find out things about your spouse. You ask questions to know things that maybe are part of her goals or objectives, and you take steps to make sure that you can help your spouse achieve those goals. And taking the steps means that maybe if you have children, it means that you are going to help with the children so that your wife could take an evening class or to be able to spend time doing things that can build her up as an individual. So moving right along, One other habit for the highly effective couples is that they have weekly date nights. Weekly date nights, and I think we've said quite a lot about weekly date nights on the show. You know, the weekly date night is a time in a week where you set apart just for the two of you, where you, if conditions allow, you go out maybe to get something to eat or to watch a movie or just to take a walk in the neighborhood. You know, it could be as simple as that. You don't even have to spend money. You know, spend time, go out together as a couple where you're sharing the time together to really get to know each other, and also take a temperature of how your relationship is doing. It's a great opportunity to ask questions and know what your spouse is thinking. And it's also a great opportunity to talk about your goals. What do you want to do as a couple? Where do you want to see yourself? What are some of the things you want to do as a married couple to bring satisfaction and happiness into your relationship? So investing in these things help you build a solid foundation, and also it's habits that the happy couples do. These are things they do. So sometimes, too many often, you meet couples who are going into problems and they're surprised. They don't understand why they're going through issues. And especially for most men who say, well, I bought a house, I'm paying the bills, and there's food on the table, what's your problem? That is the problem, because we think, a lot of men think, or some men think, that doing those things equates to happiness, but it's much more than that. You know, it's applying the wrong tools to the wrong problem. You know, we will not get the desired results. So what we need to know is find out exactly the things that our spouse needs, your wife needs to be able to connect with you. You know, being able to talk or going on a date, those are the things that build up a relationship. So as we go through this, I hope that we will be able to apply some of these skills that successful couples apply, and these things will help us to put us on a path to ensuring that we will also be in that unique club of happy couples. My name is Akwesi Opong. This is Couples Date Night on Sunlight Radio Online. We will be right back. Hello, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Couples Date Night. My name is Akwesi Opong, and today we are talking about habits of highly happy couples or highly effective married couples. What sets them apart? What are some of the things they do that make their relationship so successful? And they seem always to be smiling and laughing, and things seem to always be going well. And I've said earlier that it doesn't always mean everything is going well, but they learn to work through their problems. They learn to address issues when they come up. They learn to communicate when something is on their mind. And that is a good place to lead us into our next thing we're going to talk about. And that is holding a State of the Union. And when I say holding a State of the Union, a few weeks ago we had, I believe this was somewhere in January, we had one of our shows. The title was The State of Your Union. You can go to our website, which is www.enjoylifewithyourspouse.com, and search for it. This is an opportunity for you and your spouse to every so often make time. This is outside your regular date night. Date night is to go out to have fun, enjoy each other, and be in the moment, and enjoy the presence of each other. But State of the Union for your union, which is your marriage, is an opportunity to look at the issues that the potential issues that are cropping up or might potentially affect your relationship in a way. So you want to talk about things that it's bothering you, things that might be on your spouse's mind, but you've not been able to make time to talk about them. This is a great opportunity to do that. And the benefit of this is that it helps to deflate little issues before they become big ones, once a week, spend about an hour, and keep this time very sacred. Make it a very important time. You're focusing on your relationship and how to make it better. Start by talking about things that are going well, and then you can get into areas that you want to improve. You can discuss issues that are coming up regarding, and I think here there's no limit. If there are the areas that you think both of you could get better, this is a great time to talk about it. And you can end your time by complimenting each other and assuring each other of your love and your commitment to your relationship. This is very important because I can tell you how many times you hear a relationship fall apart and one person in the relationship said, I don't know what happened, because they never knew what was going on in their union. And it's important that we take the steps to invest time to really understand all of this. One other thing that the highly happy couples do is that they say nice things about their spouse. This is not only when they are there, but also when they are not. If we look closely, no matter who you're married to, there are some wonderful things about your spouse that I'm sure you do know. And when you're out and about with your friends or at work, make sure it's not an opportunity for you to spill out all the dirty laundry about your spouse. The successful happy couples do not do that. They always highlight the positive, they appreciate what is working, and they focus on the things that are going well. There's a phrase that I often say, that what you appreciate appreciates. So if we appreciate the things that are going well with our spouse, we will see more of those. Give more than you take. That's another thing the successful couples do. They are not only taking and taking and taking, but they find opportunities to give. I've said this quite often. There was a show I was watching on TV, and there was a young man who was getting married, and the day of the wedding, just before he was going to walk down the aisle, his father came up and said, young man, put more money in the bank than you take out. And I like that so much, because the point he was making here is that make sure you invest into loving activities, emotional activities that build your relationship, and don't do things that drain the love out of your relationship. Let's focus on things that we do that add to the relationship, like going on date nights, or listening to your spouse, or communicating well, or doing romantic things with your spouse, or knowing their love language. The list goes on and on and on. Make sure you're putting more into it than you're taking out, because as we know, if you do that with your bank account, you know what's going to happen. So let's make sure we are investing into that. There's a resource from HuffPost.com that gave us some other ideas as to things that these highly happy couples are doing, and I want to go through a couple of them. They don't stress over the small stuff. And again, I've hinted a little bit to this. The couple who's been married for 25 years, one of their big tips is that there are little things that happen, they do not sweat over them. Like, we all have pet peeves, things that your spouse does that you don't like. Your husband left his clothes on the floor, the fourth time in a week. It gets to that point, and I think the 80-80 marriage talks about this, that you have to graciously come to the point, extend grace, and say that, I'm just going to pick this up every time I see it. I'm not going to sweat over this, because in the end, all that is doing is making me unhappy. I'm just going to decide that every time I find out he's left his clothes on the floor, I will pick it up and just move on. Watch what's going to happen. After a while, he's going to start doing what he has to do. We should stop stressing over the small stuff. Remember, it's you and your spouse versus the world. This is not about taking sides. I think we've highlighted this earlier. It's all about two of you in as a team. You approach everything as we're solving it together. You approach everything as how can I help? How can I bring joy and satisfaction to you? How can I make your day easier? How can I bring laughter and joy to you? Let's think about all of this. It's going to really help us and put us on that path to ensuring that we join that unique club of highly happy couples. Yeah. The next thing is a big one, is communication. That is the key thing a lot of marriages suffer from, the lack of effective and proper communication. We all know how to talk, but knowing the right things to say in a relationship and when to say it, it's a whole other ball game. Sometimes we have to bite our tongue. Sometimes we have to hold ourselves back and say, I really want to say this, but I am not going to say. Part of communication is also listening beyond the words. If your husband is talking about something about work, if you listen closely, you could tell that maybe he probably needs a little bit of affirmation from you. It's not about what is going about our work. A little bit of affirmation probably could give him that extra jolt of energy he needs to handle his affairs. And I've made clear that men thrive on affirmation. We thrive on hearing that we're doing well. When we're encouraged and affirmed, it really puts us in a place of being able to do more. The other side of communication is also the ability to listen. We live in a society today where there's so much for us to say, and the art of listening is most often non-existent, and we have to make sure we're listening. And we're not just listening to the words, we're listening to the emotions. We are really listening beyond the words to make sure that whatever is being said, we are really understanding, we're really hearing it, so that we can use those that knowledge to make our relationships better. Listening and communication is a huge part of our relationship if we want to make sure that we are joining that unique group of couples who have highly happy marriages. My name is Akwesi Opon. This is Sunlight Radio Online, and we will be right back.